Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of CarX Drift Racing 2 with Brogue Hammer Auto House. Today's episode is all about the engine swaps, which ones are available, and what are the best motors to put in your specific drift vehicle. So we're going to jump right into it. There's a lot of different engines, different horsepowers, vehicles, and everything like that. So stay tuned. We'll dive into that, and then we'll show you some kind of driving with those vehicles after we do a little explanation of the engine, horsepower, and etc. So we're going to start off with the Hachi Roku. This is a Tier 1 vehicle that I have engine swapped the 2.0 liter i4 turbo. The i4T stands for an inline 4-cylinder turbo engine. This one in particular puts out 773 horsepower, 709 nanometers of torque, and it goes 0 to 100 kilometers in 3.9 seconds. As you can see there, I'm showing you how to do the engine swap if you're not aware of the upgrades. You do need to have the car upgraded to ProDrift 3 before you can engine swap an engine in there. You also need to collect the blueprints for the particular engine for each specific vehicle. So it does take some time to get some of these engine prints. They don't come in any particular order. They're very random. So that's something to keep track of. Keep doing the ones in the top corner where you can watch an ad and get one every 3 days. That always helps. So between that engine alone, we're going to jump over to the 3.0 liter i6T, which again stands for an inline 6-cylinder with a turbo. This one puts out 836 horsepower and 837 foot-pounds of torque, nanometers of torque. It goes 0 to 100 kilometers in 3.9 seconds. This is a great overall engine, the 3-liter. I only have it for one car, so I don't have a ton of information on it, but so far it's great. It's got a little bit of noticeable turbo lag when you get back on throttle after you're off of it, so that's something to keep an eye on, but we'll dive more into this in a second here. So next up is the Horizon GT4. This one I have swapped with the 3.8 liter V6 twin turbo. So just like it says, it's a V pattern engine with 6 cylinders and twin turbo. This puts out 829 horsepower and 857 nanometers of torque. That's our highest torque number out of any of the engines comes out of this 3.8 liter. So something to note there. Finally, the Hunter. This one I unlocked the 7-liter V8 for. It has 738 horsepower, 760 nanometers of torque. Goes 0 to 100 in 4.3 seconds. And that engine isn't necessarily my favorite, but we'll dive into it as you see me driving here. So we're going to start off with the Hachi Roku. This has the inline 4-cylinder 2-liter engine, and I really like it in this car. This engine's a lot better for lighter, maybe even shorter wheelbase vehicles. I think it's more than enough power for what this car needs. As long as it's tuned well, this thing can keep up with any of the other engine swaps. So keep that in mind as well. It does depend on the vehicle weight, the tire size, and everything like that. But for the most part, these are all vehicles running very similar tire sizes with similar suspension settings to get the most even comparison. As you can see, I didn't have enough torque for 5th gear on that corner, so that is one disadvantage of the 2 liters. It has a little bit less torque, but I ended up with about 7,500 DP for an overall score. The Imperior's next. This one has the 3-liter straight 6 turbo, the 2JZ in real life motor. And this one is definitely one of my top 2 engine swaps. This one is fantastic, as well as the 3.8 liter, which we'll show you in the next clip. But the 3.0 that this car has, it's got, just like I said, a tiny bit of turbo lag when you get off and back on throttle, but it's not a major amount that it makes the car suffer from it. It's just something that I noticed that's a little different than the 3.8 liter that I really enjoy as well. So something to keep in mind there. I hope I unlock some more of these 2Js, but I think they're doing that a lot slower than some of the other engine packages for some reason. So ended up with 10,000 DP on that score, so that's a really good score for that track, thanks to the engine swap. So we'll jump into the third motor here, that 3.8 liter V6 twin turbo that comes out of a Nissan GTR in real life, not an R34 GTR, but an R35. So I love this engine. It's extremely responsive. It has a ton of torque, almost no lag in the turbos because of that twin turbo setup, I believe is why. And it's definitely my overall favorite engine in the game. I've unlocked this engine for about 3 vehicles, And I gotta say, every single time I put it in something, it just wakes the car up, and definitely one I would suggest doing if you have it unlocked. That car would be worth going up to the Pro Drift 3, swapping the engine over, and trying it out, because it's a lot of fun. So after that one, we ended up with a score of 8,700, so a little better than the Hachiroku, a little worse than the Imperior. And then finally is the Hunter, which is the BMW. This I have the 7-liter V8, transferred into. And I gotta say that the V8 is probably my least favorite engine swap so far that I've experienced. I haven't unlocked the 6.2 liter or the 6.2 liter supercharged, so I can't really say anything about those, but the 7 liter is great for low end torque, but it does have a low rev range, so you can't, the gears aren't quite as long as some of the other engines, and I've noticed it in a driving perspective. Now, it's still a good engine compared to what, say, this vehicle came with stock from drifting perspective, but like I said, I would really prefer that 3.8 liter or the 3 liter V6 or i6 because they're just by far my favorite to drive and run with. I have a couple just kind of fun, clips here added in so you guys can check out the performance of these vehicles. So stay tuned for those if you're interested. Otherwise, I am still working on my 1,000 subscriber thank you video. I just don't want to rush it. I want it to be, a good quality video. So that's going to mix some CarX Drift Racing 2 with real life, which I think you guys will like, and hopefully it'll show in the video views. So anyways, stay tuned. Should be up later this week, maybe early next week, depending on the weather. We've had some rough weather here in Minnesota. It's been pretty cold and snowy, which doesn't bode well for doing stuff outside. So thanks again for watching, guys. Stay tuned. We'll see you next time.